The game.
With that being said,
Let's
we'll be
go.
going
Hope
into the
season.
changes for season 8. And since my
Hopium.
throat is dying, Raven 1
Keep
is going to
inhaling
be
it.
taking over for a bit and explaining some of the cool changes that are going to be made in season 8 with his voice.
Hello. You know what they say? Now that we're done talking about season 7, yesterday is history. Today is the present. And tomorrow is the greatest season ever. The season 8 changes. I'll talk about them right now.
Yeah, we'll see, buddy.
I do have a bit of an issue.
We will see
about these changes because I can't pronounce some of these words. So, yeah, just a disclaimer. All right, let's talk about season 8's biggest change, Rift. This Rift isn't just a new objective, it's a completely new type of content that merges and evolves the existing VLS, Secret Lab, and Battle Zone into one. The story begins like this. Aglaya was conducting a new experiment. A VF energy surge caused space-time distortions to appear all over Lumia Island.
Is that lore?
These are the rifts. At first, they were just troublesome occurrences, but Aglaya soon realized they were actually open gates to the other dimensions and began actively using them in experiments.
They're giving us lore.
In fact, if a player played Moonrabbit during their Eternal Return collab update, our test subjects actually meet the other characters through the rift. Starting in season 8, you'll encounter two types, the Dimensional Rift and Warp.
Be nice, Lamb.
First, Dimensional Rift are special battle zones that only 2 teams can enter, ensuring there are no third parties. The rifts that open on day 2 allow you to revive even after losing, so you can try entering them without pressure. But starting from day 3, players may be terminated, making the outcome much more intense. But when entering, any dead teammates will be revived as well, giving you a chance to fight at full strength.
Oh yeah, these?
The second type, Warp, is a new strategic...
Oh my god. I'm gonna have so much to say about these.
If you stand on top of the unstable rift for a moment, you'll be launched high into the sky and can fly across the map, just like using a VLS. You can reach the opposite side of the map in one go, dramatically expanding your movement options and strats. To summarize, the Rift system is a
they mentioned Moonrabbit.
Season 8 that unifies several previous systems.
They did, they mentioned it.
The thrill of a fair 2-team combat and improved map mobility. Depending on how you use the Rifts, the entire flow of the game can change.
Oh, time to type. Here we go.
Now, you can think of Dimensional Rift as
put some notes down.
Challenge for a duel. When you enter one, your team and a single opposing team are transported into a separate space called the Combat Lab, where a fair and square 3v3 showdown takes place. Meow. The winning team can teleport out after, letting them choose to return to their original location or nearby zones.
Oh, I thought he said meow.
The role
he said
and
now.
rewards of Dimensional Rift vary depending on the phase of the match. In the early game, during the opening phase, Dimensional Rifts mainly serve as a team repositioning tool.
Meow.
The winning team regroups near their original area, while the losing team is granted a termination prevention or elimination prevention, allowing them to restart.
He really did just say meow, yeah. Verified cat
As
boy.
the game enters the mid phase, the purpose of the rift changes. It becomes a comeback opportunity for teams that have fallen behind. Upon entering the rift, all fallen teammates
I'm not the only one that heard that.
Free, letting your team fight at full strength. Winning the battle grants you valuable rewards, which can instantly boost your team's overall power as well.
Yeah.
Unlike other features so far added into Eternal Return, which often were objectives around the map and were affected by the Battle Royale aspect, Dimensional Rift
the community can make them meow,
that gives players a break from the chaotic battle on the island.
Verified
players
cat
will be
boys.
able to fight a fair 3v3 with the feature with a large reward for the winners. Now, we mentioned that the Dimensional Rift is a fair 3v3 battle zone.
So when's Wendy getting a skin?
Combat Lab is where the battle will unfold. When your team enters the Combat Lab, the fight doesn't start right away. Each team is placed on its own staging zone for a brief moment, giving you time to regroup, finalize your strategy, and prepare for the fight ahead. To enter the central combat area, both teams must either activate the door consoles or wait for a short timer after one side activates it first. When the door opens and you move to the center, a variety of objects await you. There's the shield pack and cube of life, which can give your team a powerful edge during the fight. How you use these objects will be a key factor in deciding the outcome. Once the middle part opens, both teams will fight out until the other side is fully terminated. You'll receive a special reward from Aglaya called, well, Aglaya's Gift. this is a selectable reward box where you get to choose what's inside. Naturally, the further into the game you are, the bigger the rewards become due to higher risk. During the day 2 phase, where reviving is still possible, you'll be rewarded with one guaranteed core material, Tree of Life, Meteorite, or Mithril, along with a few bonus items as a light incentive for your effort. Good job. The rewards become a lot higher on day 3. From this point on, losing results in termination, so teams are risking the entire game on the line. But the rewards make it worth the risk. If you win, you can obtain force cores or even VF blood samples, and even rare consumables like Tear of Selene and Holy Water. Of course, one wrong step and it's game over, so choose wisely. So far, we talked about the Dimensional Rift, so now let's talk about warps. Warps mainly appear on the outer edge of the map, and unlike Dimensional Rifts, they only spawn at night. On the minimap, they look like swirling vortexes. If you stand on an unstable energy field for just a moment, your character is launched high into the sky, arriving above the lab, and from there, you can fly in any direction, just like riding a VLS. Here's the important part. Because warps are made of volatile VF energy, they're treated as a type of rift. So even if you pass over restricted zones, your timer won't tick down, unlike VLS. Ever since we introduced VLS, we've heard feedback that there hasn't been really a fast way to cross the map from one end to the other. Warps are one solution to that problem. Now your entire team can ride the warp together and execute surprise maneuvers by instantly traversing to the sorry, my pronunciation is not the best. Traversing to the opposite side of the battlefield. Okay, let me get some water.
Water during talking. That's cheating.
The rift system also plays a key role in shaping the flow of the game. Aside from the Dimensional Rift, which allows revives, most rifts appear primarily during the mid-game, when there are still many survivors alive and the map still feels crowded. These mid-game rifts help elevate population density and create more breeding room across the island. And since rifts only appear during the day and warps appear at night, you won't encounter both at the same time. Truthfully, the rift system reflects a long-standing design challenge we've been working to solve. Much of the core fun of Eternal Return is attached with the unpredictability unique to the Battle Royale genre of constant tension and pressure. But at the same time, we know that in key moments, a lot of the teams want a fair fight, a clean, skill-based 3v3 without any outside interference. That's exactly why the ending final zone was so well received by our players. Striking a balance between these two types of fun, the chaotic survival and the fair combat, has always been our greatest challenge.
Right. I typed out my
Rifts
response
are
to the rift.
Answer to that
I'll tell you
challenge.
afterwards.
We received a lot of feedback
Gonna
that
be a big
battles
thing.
between two teams are fun, but once a third party shows up, it gets frustrating. So, we designed rifts to create these guaranteed 3v3 fights at natural points throughout the match. Pair it with reasonable rewards, all without breaking the flow of the battle.
I feel like you guys
The rift
already
system layer
will
on
likely
top of the existing
know what my
structure
answer
of
is before I
opening,
even give it
mid,
to you.
and endgame phases.
Or at least have
we're
some idea of
confident
where
that
I'll probably
survival
go.
experience on Lumia Island will feel more dynamic and better paced than ever before. Our
You won't
efforts to create
most likely
a
be
fair
surprised by my
3v3
answer.
combat experience continues with the Chronosphere.
Like, you
As
guys
the
all
final
know me well.
showdown at each match is also getting a major update. Previously, the last zone was a small square area, and winning often came down to who could claim the best spot first. Starting in Season 8, that all changes with the addition of Aglaya's high-tech device, the Chronosphere, which appears in the final safe zone and completely changes the endgame. The Chronosphere creates a circular safe zone and starts moving.
You only battle
It
zones because of
starts
tempo?
wide, but gradually shrinks over time, reducing the total size of the safe zone. A common question we heard, does this
It's not the
mean
battle zones
entire
themselves,
restricted
tempo
zone
that you
system
lost
is changing?
going in them.
And no. The Chronosphere only activates during the
I
final
can't speak
safe
on them 'cause I
zone,
wasn't there
where
for
the
that, but-
last remaining team is determined. That means you can no longer rely solely on camping
Tempo
in a
hero?
good spot
No.
to win. With the constantly shrinking and shifting safe zone, you'll need to stay moving right up to the final moment. You can expect a much more dynamic final battle with different positionings becoming
Well, I
possible.
mean, if you're going to give us swimsuit skins and bunny girl skins, we need Fenboy
So,
skins.
We've talked a lot
It's
of
only fair.
features. We talked a lot about features designed for combat, but now let's talk
It's
about
not
something
me
different.
wearing them. I mean,
A graceful exit. In Season 8, the option to escape is also getting a long
you got to
overdue
balance it
update.
out, you know?
we decided to redefine the role of
Like, we need
as a
boy
proper
bands and
exit
femboys.
route
Where are
for
they at?
teams who choose to opt out
Where's
of
our
the fight.
equality, huh?
You'll no longer You'll no longer need to battle it out with other teams. Instead, simply purchase a rootkit at a kiosk, get your team's vote approval, and after a short cooldown, you'll board the submarine and make your escape, earning a small amount of score in the process. Rather than forcing yourself to continue through an unwinnable situation, you now have a simplified escape process to wrap up the match cleanly and move on to your next game. Now, one of the biggest questions we were asked and we asked ourselves while preparing for Season 8 was, how can we introduce more fun and diverse variables into
Gadget
the
Vault.
game?
Oh god.
But the existing system had
All right, tell me about it.
limitations. Wild animal drops relied too heavily on RNG, while credits tended to snowball in favor of already advantaged teams. And when items like traps and cameras had to be crafted, experienced players could stockpile 10 of them, while newer players struggled to craft even one.
Mm-hmm.
So we set out to create a system that isn't heavily influenced by luck or player experience, and lets everyone focus purely on tactical decision making. The system we planned out is named Gadget Vaults. Starting in Season 8, gadgets will no longer drop from wildlife or be crafted. Instead, every player will be able to select the gadgets they want through the Gadget Vault system. To use gadgets, you'll need a new source, Gadget Vault Energy. This energy is distributed fairly over time to all players.
That
and
tortilla
can
chips
also be
and salsa, by the
granted
way.
by hunting mutated bear packs.
Having a snack.
Now, gadgets are no longer about which items are dropped and were hoarded. They're about how wisely you select and use them, with different decisions being available.
What the
When will you
fuck,
spend your
Lamb?
energy? Which gadgets are you going to choose? And it's no longer about the quantity, but about timing, placement, and tactical decision making. You can still buy cams with your credits. Inside the
What did I
gadget
just
vault,
read?
you will find a total of 6 gadgets.
Is there more of that, or is that
categorized
just
them
like,
into 2 types?
is it a copy pasta?
Strategic gadgets, which influence the overall flow of the game, and tactical gadgets, which create immediate advantages during the combat. Let's start with strategic gadgets. These include familiar tools like Hunter's Pot, Kiosk, and Portable
I
VLN.
think that's the copy
These
pasta you were
gadgets
telling me
shine when
about.
you're thinking about team-wide macro decisions and map control. Then we have the tactical gadgets, introducing 3 brand new orbs that offer unique advantages in skirmishes. We'll take a closer look at those in just a moment.
I'm not reading it,
one
but I
key
think it's
change to
funny. You
note
are
is
right.
that the
It
flare
is
gun,
pretty funny.
previously a gadget, has now
It's
been
cringe.
reclassified as a general item, and the less popular flare gun B has been removed entirely.
It is super
All of
cringe.
these new restricted gadgets can now be accessed through your quick slot. We've gathered all these player-driven active use tools into a clear and intuitive system, so you can
I
make
gotta get,
quick
like-
decisions
like,
and deploy them with ease during matches. With that,
A little
let's dive into the
food,
brand new
little
tactical
little
gadgets
food
of Season
accessories for
8.
when I'm eating on stream. I think it'll be very cute. Like a little boba
Orb.
cup in one hand and
So
like,
what is an orb?
I don't know, something in the
All
other
3
hand.
orbs share a unique mechanic. They slowly move towards a designated point while applying special effects along the way. This is a brand new type of gadget that opens up fresh tactical possibilities. The first one is Recon Orb. This small orb travels back and forth along a set path, illuminating a cone-shaped vision area as it moves. If it encounters a blocked path, it will detour around it, and if it reaches an impassable area, it will briefly stop, then return. It's like having an extra teammate that actually helps you scout. However, keep in mind that this orb can be destroyed with basic attacks, so if you spot an enemy's surveillance module, make sure you take
my
it out
God.
and deny them vision, and it also grants credits as well. And because this new gadget provides a consistent vision tool, we're also going to be making a small adjustments. The drones you received from Ravens will now be limited to just 1. Next up is the Safety Orb. This gadget is very unique. It creates a temporarily safe zone even inside a restricted area. As the orb travels towards its target point, it generates a 5-meter radius around where the player's timer won't tick down. On top of that, it gives a slight movement speed boost to nearby allies. This opens up completely new strategies where it's making a bold path through restricted zone or creating momentary lifeline to survive dangerous situation. I'm personally curious to see what happens if all 3 teammates use them in a row. Once the safety module reaches its destination, it remains active just for a few seconds before disappearing. Lastly, we have the Explosion Orb. As the name suggests, this is an offensive target that explodes, obviously, 2 seconds after reaching to its target location, dealing damage to nearby enemies. But it's not about raw damage. The explosion also destroys nearby installations like camera and traps, and applies healing reduction as well. This makes it incredibly powerful during team fights and great for breaking through enemy-controlled zones and turning the tide of a fight. Next up, it's time for some long-awaited Lumia Island construction updates. Of course, we'd love to fully expand Lumia Island someday, as Wendy mentioned previously, but that requires a serious amount of time and resources. So for now, we decided to focus on what we can do right away of adjusting specific areas that need revamps. In Season 8, we've opened up paths in various areas and made adjustments to cramped terrain to give more movement options. Think of it as adding small escape routes, the kind that helps you slip away when you find yourself stuck in a pinch, such as being sandwiched between two teams. Now let's take a quick look at these areas, and I have some before and after shots for you. Also, the image is explaining from a while back how we're going to move a lot of the IOU maps into TSNAs. Boom. First is Ali. We're breaking down the little wall nearby the campfire.
Whoa.
Boom. Bye-bye. Goodbye, Bozo. No more wall. Breaking down.
Boom. Bye-bye. Thanos snap. Gone.
Boom. We also have
Done
the
and
police
dusted. Get
stations,
the fuck
annoying
outta here.
T-shape obstruction. Boom. Bye-bye,
You see
Bozo.
that wall?
annoyed
Gone.
In the final,
You see these walls?
in the final
That one
zone,
right there?
so
Boom.
annoying.
Gone.
Now it's gone.
Fuck that wall.
Boom. Bye-bye, Bozo.
Whoa.
One of the most demanded and internally popular change is stream. We have opened up the death trapped area where bears spawn.
Bye-bye, Bozo.
Looks like we won't see as many missed blinks around this area
I
anymore.
hope someone audio clips that.
Boom. Another long block path. Its stream was reworked to be opened. A separate path from Temple often made it really hard to reunite with your teams. That
Don't
wall,
understand the Getch
bye-bye,
thing?
Bozo.
Yeah, we'll talk afterwards. I mentioned that in my review.
Letter T-shape removal is at
I
school.
said a lot about it. You'll
Not
see.
only will this
We'll talk
make
about it
pathing more
afterwards.
comfortable, it will also show how
But
visual.
yeah, I
is actually,
agree.
Which is more intuitive for players. Boom. We're also opening up.
Bye
more
bye,
pathing in
Bozo.
Seb.
Yeah,
Not only
please,
will this
someone
make
like
pathing
audio
more
clip that
comfortable,
from the
it will
main
also
stream.
open how
I hope
visual
someone
is in
does,
this
because
area
if they
as well.
don't, I have to go back and find it. That was too good.
Boom.
I think I was
Last
laughing
but not
over it, but it was
least, we
funny
have
as fuck.
Warehouse. The opening nearby the campfire was so
Boom.
small,
Bye bye, Bozo.
making movements really difficult.
Mm.
We're opening up the path a little bit more. With that said,
Yeah, fuck
this
that
wraps
wall.
up all the map changes that will be
Get it
coming to
outta
Season
here.
8. While they're not huge adjustments like a new zone, it's been a while since we made adjustments to the map itself. And we hope that players have an easier time maneuvering around Lumia Island with these changes. And when you're
Yeah,
able to
screw
walk
the
through
suit
these
and
paths,
tie language. Just
remember,
deliver me updates
big
like
windy,
this. I don't even
big win
care.
one.
You don't need to tell me why you did anything. Just tell me what you're doing. Deliver
That's
it
the legal
like
line.
a
I'll
fellow
pass the
gamer,
mic
and I
back
think a
to
lot of this
Wendy
would be a lot more
while I grab
digestible.
some coffee for both of us.
Okay. Bye bye, Bozo.
Boom.
Bye bye, Bozo.
Okay, I will be retaining my.
You know they
control
like wrote that
over
line
Destiny
before
right
this.
now.
You know they
Okay,
did.
now we're gonna move into some more season 8 changes.
They were waiting for that
And the
segment. You
first
could
one
feel
up
it.
is gonna be Wickline improvements. So in season 8,
They were fucking waiting
we're
for
gonna
that
be
segment.
trying switching up the more of the powerful
Boom.
entities on Lumia Island,
Bye bye,
which
Bozo.
are Wickline, Alpha, and Omega. All of them are gonna be ongoing major changes. And we believe that with this battles
Yeah,
over
still
these
he's just like
objectives will be
setting up her
more
combo.
dynamic
Boom.
and
Bye bye.
strategic.
Fuck.
So
Get
let's
outta
start
here.
with Wickline, which is kind of the final boss
To
of
another
Eternal
world with you.
Return. She's not going to be a raid boss like monster. So Wickline has been significantly enhanced to be kind of a far more threatening opponent. And now that test subjects has become too familiar with the old patterns of Wickline, Aguilia has kind of given her new abilities to try and gather more meaningful data. So she's gonna have 5 new moves that she will be able to utilize against the test subjects now. So the first one is gonna be target lock. So if you stay within range of Wickline for more than 5 seconds, you'll become a tracked target, which will cause Wickline to relentlessly
You can see the chat. Just
pursue
boom.
you.
Boom.
And
Bye bye,
this lock is only
Bozo.
removed if you create enough distance or if another player attacks Wickline. This would mean Wickline camping is no longer available, and camping now comes
Wow.
with increased risk.
You can't camp. You can't
Now, the
camp.
second one is going to be
Wickline anymore.
neurotoxin dispersal. So Wickline now emits a wide area gas
Whoa.
field that applies healing reduction. And
Still
within
not
this
this game.
zone,
Yeah,
all
I
healing
know.
effects
1 out
are
of 10
heavily
update.
diminished, making it much more harder to bring her down without sustaining serious damage. Third one, triplet code, is going to be Wickline launching a 3-way syringe projectile that slow all targets hit, which means this will drastically reduce the viability of safely attacking her from long range without any thinking. Number 4 is going to be suppression, which is Wickline's dash ability, allowing her to quickly close the gap on her targets, which means this will add a new layer of aggression to her behavior in combat. Number 5 is going to be containment, which is Wickline curling up and releasing a powerful shockwave, knocking back her enemies and dealing heavy damage. So for close targets, this might be a devastating finisher that may be difficult to avoid. So with these new skills, Wickline is going to be a much more unpredictable and dangerous foe, transforming Night 4 objective fights into high-stakes, action-packed showdowns. And yeah, no more bodyguards guarding Wickline, following her, looking for the best opportunity to pounce into a third party. That is no more, because Wickline is tired of that, and she's now out to get you.
I'm tired of that. That shit's so boring.
Okay, next slide. Now, I also want to give you the changes to Alpha and Omega as well. They're also going to be getting a strategic boost. So from now on,
Actually, a
Alpha
buff makes it
and
easier to
Omega
drag in his zone.
is going to
Yeah.
grant a permanent buff that lasts until the end of the game. So Alpha
Not
is
anymore.
going to be is going to give 3 adaptive stats, which is either going to be attack power or amp, while Omega is going to be providing a +4 defense buff. And if a team manages to take down both Alpha and Omega, they'll gain an additional Annihilation buff, which is going to be boosting all damage dealt even further.
Crazy,
Alpha and
dude.
Omega will also not drop credits or Celine's tiers anymore, and instead these materials will be moved into the newly empowered Dr.
Yeah, she gets
Wickline,
one
making
shot
her
or people
a
camp her.
even
Yeah.
more
No in
sought
between.
over objective.
It's so boring.
Windy, you can turn the tides against Raven 1 if you meow now. Meow.
Nope.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just got access to chat now.
You
I
can't
can
make
finally
me.
read it. Okay, with these changes,
I'm not making
Alpha
animal
and
noises.
Omega will now
Cheesy
stand
couldn't
out
do
with
it. Tao
unique
couldn't do it. You ain't gonna
lasting
work either,
power-ups,
Windy.
which is distinct from any other objective
Nope.
on the map. So, as you can see, our monsters are always
Yeah,
getting
of
stronger.
course.
Even I'm getting stronger with this new chat.
They made
feature.
him meow.
So let's see how they fare against the test subjects on Lumia Island.
Yep. You can't make me.
Next up
You can't
is
make me
gonna
do
be
it. I'm
the
not
new
going
combat
to.
system term, which is
Nope.
break. So break is triggered when you defeat an entire enemy team during the no wipe period, when the elimination prevention is active. And the name signifies kind of
Not
putting
gonna.
a hard brake on your opponent's growth and momentum. So it's either it can either mean making them go take a break or actually doing a car break on their onslaught. Oh, I love these CAD emotes.
I don't
So
know
cute.
why
Okay.
we did this.
Okay, I'm getting too excited over this. Okay, so going back to break. So previously, even if you wiped a team during the no wipe period, you wouldn't really get credit for a terminate
Why?
or elimination. But now with the break system, your decisive plays during this window can now be clearly recognized as a good play. So, in summary, from now on, during the no wipe phase, a full team wipe will trigger break.
Yeah,
And
but
after
why?
that phase ends, the usual terminate will be applied. This new terminology allows everyone to better
Terminat.
understand who seized control of the battlefield and making the flow of combat easier to follow and be more satisfying. I can't wait to break people in game. Me too. Okay, now this one is a bit of a math stuff. So I think we mentioned this on the last step stream too, but we're going to be making changes to the cooldown reduction system, which will be introducing the skill haste system instead. And this change is kind of aimed at solving most of the frustration many of you would have likely felt when trying to fine-tune your builds. So I think the biggest question is going to be, why are we changing the system? So previously, cooldown reduction was based on a percentage system. The more cooldown reduction you stacked, the more exponentially your damage potential increased over time. So to
Better than
control this
them.
runaway scaling, we had no choice but to enforce a cooldown cap. And because of this, builds became more polarized because when you take an item that has CDR, you either went full CDR to hit the cap exactly, or you just completely ignored CDR items at all, because if you don't meet the cap, it's not even worth it. There was no in between. So this usually caused very awkward transitions
Daddy, get
in
it?
build paths. So let's say you're jumping from Imperial Crown to Persona, or you're jumping from Dropnir to Nightmare Nails. You would either be
That dude has the
overcapping
mentality of
or
a
you'd be
15-year-old
losing out
boy.
on
I don't know.
CDR. So this kind of
I ain't
led
into it.
to rigid and unsatisfying build options,
Not into that.
which is kind of a
I like his hair though.
yeah. It wasn't a good experience for our for our players to have. So that is why we will be introducing the new system, which is gonna be skill haste.
Skill
So
haste.
starting in season 8, all of the cooldown reduction stuff will be replaced with skill haste, and the previous cooldown cap will be removed entirely.
Skill haste.
So giving a more clearer idea about how
Like
skill haste works
League?
is that skill haste increases how often you can cast skills linearly.
Cheese is gonna
and
like that one.
intuitively. So for example, if you have 10% skill haste, your skills can be cast 10% more frequently over time. So this means there are no hidden caps and no kind of math gymnastics. It's more of a more straightforward performance scaling stuff. And we believe that this will be able to open more diverse and flexible build paths, because you will be able to allow play your way and plan your builds more in a more different way, rather than being punished for not hitting arbitrary breakpoints.
Okay.
Going into more benefits about why skill haste would be truly the right fit for Eternal Return, we believe it's a much more suitable system, especially given how equipment stuff works in Eternal Return, and because it evolves step by step through upgrades. So the first one is that, as I said before, build freedom is the biggest one that the skill haste system can bring. It gives more smooth progression between equipment tiers. So under the old system, moving from epic tier items to legendary tier items could cause temporary gaps or overcapping in cooldown values. But with skill haste, that kind of an awkwardness.
What about augments?
disappears with the new
They're gonna
system.
get that in a second,
You would
probably.
also have
That's probably
more
next.
freedom when using special materials. So let's say you have already cooldown built in, and
That's probably
then
next.
you have obtained a tree of life. So
Right?
then, even if you're already capped out, you
Did
might
they
be
skip
even
augments?
hesitant to upgrade. Let's say straight jacket sneakers to glacial
You better
shoes,
not have.
because
That's
you're
like one
kind
of the few things about
overcapping
this
the
I
cap.
had
But
such
now with no cap, you
popular
will
opinions
be able
about.
to more freely build items without any penalty or losing out on stats too much. Okay, and also easier mythic item choices are a big thing that this can kind of bring too, because you might have been reluctant to switch from Nightmare Nails to
You asked
Necronomicon,
him? Yeah.
worrying it because it might break your cooldown setup. But with skill haste, these concerns are much less
You mean
impactful,
Moral
so you will
Anomicon?
be able to take more of these items freely, more upgrades freely when you are implementing them into your build. This updates also enables kind of new build fantasies too, like stacking.
What's Necro?
Extreme
I call
cooldown
that Moral
reduction or
Anomicon.
rapid fire casting,
That's
even
what
if
it's
it
called.
comes at the costs of other stats. So just like how auto attack builds benefit more from mixing attack speed and attack power, you'll still find
That's just what it's
optimal
called.
synergy in combining both skill amp and skill haste. But now you can either choose between which one you want to go, and we believe that the freedom it's gonna become much clearer. Just a sec. I just need to scroll this down.
Did you get like really
but
quiet?
We do
Oh, you
think,
did.
the clarity stuff is kind of an issue when we implement skill haste, because there is one downside when we introduce skill haste, which is the clarity. Because skill haste may feel less immediately intuitive when you're trying to calculate how much cooldown reduction you're actually gaining. And we believe that although this is an issue, we believe that for
No, Lamb, I'm not.
most
I don't mean
players,
literally. I mean,
especially in the mid and lower ranks, they're kind of
I was
really
kidding.
unsure about how CDR values work
Necronomicon is basically like the same thing as another book item that looks a lot the same in League.
when it comes to come to our more of the light players. And
Moral
even
and
now,
Omicron?
it's very common to see players unintentionally break or go beyond the cooldown cap, even without realizing. So we do believe that it's kind of a paradoxical situation, but moving to skill haste might actually make things simpler for these kind of players. And yeah, it's not going to be much more harder for a more larger portion of the player base. So yeah, I know that this is kind of a very abrupt change, and as I can see in chat, there's a lot of worry about the changes going in as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we do want to try in a more gradual transition. So we want to ensure this change doesn't feel too abrupt. We will be implementing it gently throughout season 8. And we believe that initially it's going to be kind of feel similar to the current system, just with a kind of a different number situation. But just it's gonna bring more flexibility instead. But over time, through careful balance updates, we will try and make it so that that the transition becomes settles in much more gradually, and we will be able to unlock even more build diversity and creativity. Hi, Wendy. Hi.
Oh.
Okay, now talking about the skill ace, as we can say, it's going to be opening up more ideas about which item, more options of which items you want to go, and we've actually made a system that can help in this part as well. We will be introducing the item recommendation system with this too. So since players will now be able to make much more flexible use for special materials, now players could ask.
Oh, hold on, let me move.
Which is going to be.
So you guys can actually see
what
that
should
is.
I craft with this material? And of course, there's the saved plan system, but the issue with the saved plan system is that
I'll be over here. You just
items that you have originally planned. But when you suddenly unexpectedly get something like a Metro or Force Core that maybe wasn't part of your saved plan, it's kind of hard to know what to make on the spot unless you're a seasoned player and kind of know the transitions for your character. And this isn't just a problem for new
consider
players
giving
as
it to your
well, because
teammates
even
too.
experienced
No,
players, when they're too
no,
used to just
it's
playing
mine.
with just one build, it may be sometimes could be confusing and could make you freeze up. So to solve this, we'll be introducing a new
They want my items, play better.
helper system to our players. It's gonna be the dynamic item recommendation system. So when you obtain a special material that is not in your route, the system checks your character and weapon type and recommends the most popular and expected item choices used by players in similar situations.
You want
through
small
metrics. So, for example, if an Axe Jockey picks up Mithril, the system will suggest top performing Mithril items that other Axe Jockey players are using. So, and this will also be prioritizing gear slots, equipment slots you haven't completed yet. So it also takes the stats and skills of the items into account too. So it will guide you towards builds that maximizes the item's value. So it would make it so that you won't be overlapping item skills and be missing out on certain things too.
Oh my god, I'm so tiny.
So yeah, and also if it turns out that there's really no good use for the item on your character as of now, the system will also try and suggest passing it to a teammate to support overall team strength as well. So if you also get an item that you probably don't need, maybe you can try and maybe consider giving it to your teammate instead of just kicking it up for additional stats. It's an idea. I know it's not a popular idea, but maybe it's something we can try out. Okay. So this feature won't be available
I'll give it to them.
at the launch of Season 8, and will probably be added more of a mid-season update.
Play better.
We'll be working on it hard, and once it arrives, and we hope it kind of reduces hesitation and makes your crafting decisions more smoother and smarter. Okay, now that being said, let's move on to the next part of the changes for Season 8. This one's kind of big for all of the firearms enjoyers. It's going to be the removal for reloading. So
let's fucking go.
Now, reloading has been part of the identity for weapon types like pistols, assault rifles, and sniper rifles. But honestly, we've got
that's my entire identity. Let's go.
The reloading mechanic is more of a frustrating mechanic rather than giving a special kind of fun.
Yes.
Because the clunky rhythm of basic attacks, the need to press
Yep.
an extra key just to reload,
Yep, you're right.
and just the bloated magazine-related stats, it kind of
Thank
made it
fucking
all kind
God.
of a meaningful mechanic as of now. So we believe that even internally, the firearm-based characters that has this reloading mechanic, it kind of makes it more complicated for us internally as well when we comes to balancing stuff and
Right, I
doing
can put my
new
dishes
stuff
away. I'll
as
be right back.
well. So we made a bold decision, and we have made the decision to be removing reloading as a global game
Let's
mechanic.
go.
And from now on, reloading will only
I'm so
exist as traits
I'm so
or
happy.
special uniqueness for specific characters. So right as of
Best-
now,
best change
when this change
the
goes
entire-
through, reloading is now exclusively gonna
The
be
entire
tied
season.
to
Best change.
Bernice's passive.
Best change
And
right here.
Bernice will be the only character that has a reloading mechanic after the update. So
I'm
what
fogging
is
the
going to
fuck
be
out out here.
happening is that Bernice,
Oh,
when
good.
Bernice levels his passive, so does his magazine size will also increase. So this is going to be making this will be making reloading for Bernice a unique mechanic for his shotgun playstyle rather than becoming a system-wide constraint. So I know people will kind of add, will Bernice be the only one with reload mechanics even in the future? But we don't believe that this is going to be the case 100%. We do believe that if a future test subject is thematically and mechanically well suited for reloading, we might bring it back as a character-specific feature for that specific character. However, as this is being changed, it will not return as a staple system for an entire weapon class, even in the future. So we do believe that it will be this change will also open up more flexibility in design. It will probably be giving more smoother gameplay and more varied builds as well. So we hope that it will overall give a much more enjoyable shooting experience across the board. Next one up
Let's
is
fucking
the
go,
basic
dude.
attack
I'm so happy about
improvements.
that change.
Now we want to share
I'm so
more
happy about the
details
weapons.
for our refinements that we made for basic attacks, one of the most fundamental elements of the game. So the first one, I honestly think a lot of the people have been waiting for this for specific characters. We've actually adjusted the way two-hit basic attacks are handled. So if you ever played characters like dual swords, characters with dual swords or Li Dai Lin, and wondered why effects like lifesteal only stacked once, once despite being clearly hitting twice, you're not alone, because we also felt that this behavior wasn't that intuitive, and starting in Season 8, we will make it so that effects will now apply for each visible hit. So if you land both hits, effects like Adrenaline will now stack twice. So yeah, this change will apply to dual sword basic attacks as well as the passes Li Dai Lin, Felix, and
Wow,
Razi.
look at that.
And dual swords have also gotten some slight
Holy
motion adjustments to
shit.
match this update as well.
Oh my god.
However, there is kind of a one exception, which is going to be Rio.
Rio.
Because Rio is kind of a long-ranged character whose basic attacks always hit twice.
Yeah.
And applying this change would
Can you show us what it
impact
looks like?
balance
I
when
really
this
want to
goes
know.
through. So as a result, we
Like,
will
you don't
be
have to implement it,
slightly
I just wanna see it.
changing Rio's double hit basic attack, which is now going to be a single hit attack, which has additional projectiles attached
Please.
to it instead.
I just
And
want
we'll
to
be sharing
see
some
it.
more
It
details
probably
of this
looks
in the
great.
character rework section. So lastly, we've also been making some changes to projectile speed for ranged basic attacks as well.
No,
So
I
what would
want them
happen
to show
usually
us
is,
Rio.
up until now, faster attack speed usually also meant faster projectile speed as well, which made it nearly impossible to dodge projectiles from high attack speed characters.
Why is my hand wigging
And
out
we
like that?
believe
You
that
see
attack
that?
speed should only influence
What?
how frequently attacks occur, not their travel speed. So in Season 8, we're cutting the influence of attack speed on projectile speed by half. And eventually, we plan to remove this dependency entirely.
My hand's
throughout-
never
through
freaked out
gradual
like that before. That was
adjustments
weird.
Throughout the future.
I think it's because the bottle was in the way, so
This
my
one
camera
is
was like
also
freaking out.
kind of a big
Didn't know what to
QOL
do.
improvement, QOL balance kind of improvement to a lot of characters too, which is going to be the damage to cameras and traps. So it's probably going to be aimed more at giving consistency over characters. And previously, damage to installables like cameras or traps varied by weapon type. And while the intent was to balance differences across weapon types, the rules kind of ended overly complex, and it still left room for imbalance. So it was complex, but it also didn't really help for balance as well. And this is more of a leftover from the solo mode eras, and we concluded
Yeah.
that it's probably not
Fair enough.
needed. We no longer probably need to maintain this as of now. So, starting with Season 8, we're simplifying the rules. Each basic attack hit will now deal 1
boys?
damage to installables
We just
across
like
all weapon types.
we
All
just-
weapons will now
we just
follow
scooped in
this
here.
unified rule, making interactions
mind me.
much more intuitive.
You keep talking. Just
For
don't mind me.
example, but dual sword users who land both hits will deal 2 damage just as it appears, while meanwhile assault rifles, which apply additional projectiles on a single basic attack, will only deal 1 instance of valid damage. So in short, this rule will align with how each weapon's individual hit functions, but it will feel much more consistent overall.
Let's go, dude.
So yeah, as a result of this change, in most cases, cameras and traps will no longer be destroyed on a single basic attack. However, certain abilities that were always intended to destroy installables in one hint, such as Carla's fully charged passive or Estelle's dash, will continue to function as before. Another small change that we're going to do is the addition of wall hit damage. It's kind of a small,
end of
small
despair.
improvement that we're aimed to enhance the impact of combat. So up until now, knocking enemies into walls with certain skills only cost a stun, no bonus damage, leaving it kind of underwhelming. But in Season 8, we're trying to make this more intuitive.
Marcus?
So if you knock an enemy into a wall with skills like the weapon type Bat's Full Swing or Crossbow's Explosion Shot, or
Golfer's just going to be happy that he can comment on characters.
Magnus, so on.
He's going to push everyone
The
into
target
walls.
will now also take bonus damage along with the stun.
Golfer's going to be
Plunging
super
into
happy. And
into a
Saren.
wall will now feel
And
more
Kenryu.
rewarding, delivering both a stun and extra pain. We'll also be making some small outline improvements as well. This is more of a quality of life.
That's going to turn Kenryu into
regarding
more of a
visual
gremlin
recognition.
than he already
When you
is.
right-click attack, the outline around them will now briefly appear thicker, as you can see here in the GIF we prepared. This will make it much more easier to recognize who exactly you're attacking during chaotic team fights. It's a small change, but it's a really welcome change as well. And also, this change was
Hyung Woo buff
previously
too.
requested by our CEO, and yeah, he thought that it's so hard to see outlines. We
Your
cannot see
CEO
it.
requested
So,
it.
a small change for our CEO, and hope that he will be able to drastically increase his performance now with this improvement he wanted. So yeah, we're very happy.
Increase his performance?
And,
nah.
We
Nah,
wish
won't.
all the best to the right endeavors of our CEO.
Hate to break it to you, CEO. You're still going to be ass.
That being said, we will now be going into one of the most exciting parts of the season updates, which is going to be the reworks to characters. And the first one up is going to be Jackie.
Yep.
Now, the Season 8 rework is going to be shining on none other than one of our Eternal Return's first test subjects, Jackie. And yeah, we do want to kind of retain her signature assassin-like playstyle, but we will also be giving her new mechanics that support extended combat engagement as well. So the first one up is going to be her passive. Bloodfest has now been completely reworked. So cooldown resets are no longer going to be part of her passive, and instead going to be tied to her E skill and ultimate. So now what's going to happen is that if Jackie scores a takedown or an assist, her E, Leaping Strike, resets, and her Massacre from her ultimate can be
check that out down here.
as well. You know, her swinging her chainsaw ability from her ultimate, that's also going to be reset if she stores a takedown or an assist. And for her passive, bleeding is no longer going to be a fixed damage source. It will now scale with skill damage and even apply on basic attacks too. And also, once Jackie lands 5 stacks of bleed or participates in a takedown, she's going to be entering a adrenaline rush state, which is going to give her both dealing bonus damage and restoring HP as well. So basically, the sustain effects from her old W and ultimate has been folded into her new passive, while the cooldown reset stuff has been given to other skills. Her Q has also been slightly changed to include 2 short dashes and grants lifesteal, increasing her ability to stay in the fight and slightly reposition mid-combat. W is now completely reworked since the sustains part has moved on to her passive. W is now completely reworked and will now empower her next basic attack to greatly slow the target. And we believe that this on-hit skill will really expand Jackie's item build options, while also separating her slow from her mobility, which gives players more creative flexibility when piloting Jackie. Okay, now as for E Leaping Strike, the E will no longer slow on impact, but as we said, it's going to be gaining a cooldown reset mechanic. And also, hitting bleeding enemies with basic attacks will also reduce its cooldown as well. So it will be significantly boosting Jackie's mobility during extended fights. Her ultimate will also no longer provide bonus damage, and because since that is now part of her passive, and now it will instead boost movement speed and attack speed. And plus, if she gets a kill or an assist, she will now be able to cast her R2, Massacre again, which will be giving her enabling drilling chain kills as well. And also note that dual swords will now deliver 2 basic attacks per strike instead of providing bonus scaling as well. So this is going to open a new type of playstyle for her as well. So hopefully with these kind of updates to her kit, we will hope that Jackie will lean further into her serial killer identity while rampaging through the opponent's team and going for chain kills. And yeah, with more relentless mobility and finishing power, we hope that a lot of our players will enjoy her new reimagined playstyle in Season 8. Okay, that being said, we will be moving on to more of the smaller changes, I would say, but still impactful changes to other characters as well. So here's some changes that characters have been improved, but will also be significantly enhancing their gameplay experience too. First up is going to be Ekion, and Ekion has received a very big upgrade.
Oh, Saren's
going to
be super happy about this.
Ekion can maintain control over his VF system, which allows him to use both Q and W during his overflow state. So while this will also be consuming his VF gauge and their player power will be slightly reduced, this change will give Ekion much more tools and tactical options to be used during overflow rather than just using E and R. Also, next, Estel will also be getting a small change as well for our EW, which is Emergency Extinguish. Because usually when Estel uses EW, Emergency Extinguish, they would be helplessly taken down because they would lose their defensive effect from their shield. And we found it we thought that it would be frustrating for Estel players to lose.
No, we're just going to close that. They're being cringe.
Just because they pressed EW. And now with the new change coming in Season 8, the shield's defensive effect will no longer be cancelled while casting this ability. So we believe that this will make Estelle significantly tougher during key moments during combat. The third one up is one that we already mentioned, but it's going to be the central figure in the reload system overhaul, which is going to be Bernice. Now, since all of the other reload mechanics has been deleted, Bernice is now the only character who still is going to be using reloading, as it's more fits his shotgun-based design. So from now on, Bernice's basic attack will always fire 4 shotgun pellets per shot, and his passive ability will increase his magazine size as it levels up. So his identity for a powerful close-range marksman, we believe, is going to be more clearly defined over other characters.
Okay.
Next up is going to be Felix. Felix is kind of known as a high skill cap mastery character. And while his power ceiling is incredibly high in top tier play, players in lower tiers really struggle out to bring out his full potential, let alone really play him too. So we'll be changing Felix's passive double strike so that it no longer triggers at maximum range, but it will now be activating immediately after Felix uses a skill. This makes it so that it will be much more easier to use during chaotic fights. As a trade-off, the cooldown reduction previously granted from E Crescent Wave will now be removed. We understand that these changes may feel like a downgrade to really dedicated Felix mains, but we do want to hope that this update will help more
You
players
want to hope,
experience
but you
what
don't?
makes Felix so rewarding to play. So we will see how this works out, and with a lot of feedback, we will see how we will be able to improve these changes overall. Kiara is also getting a big change because Kiara's gameplay usually very heavily relies on her ultimate, which is Plague. And usually after using Plague, she finishes off her enemies using Last Judgment. The
Felis
issue
arc? It might be.
with this mechanic is that failing to secure a kill with Last Judgment left her
I don't know. He
completely
looks pretty
vulnerable
like
because
juiced
her Plague
now.
is now off, which felt extremely punishing.
He's gonna be juiced.
To ease that burden, we will be changing it so that Plague will now continue for its remaining duration, even if Last Judgment doesn't secure a kill. So even though you won't be able to cast R2 again, this will prevent Kiara from being entirely powerless even after a failed finisher. Natapon. Natapon is also getting a small change to his passive. Natapon's passive's picturesque stacks used to disappear if an enemy briefly left vision, which felt kind of unintuitive and made stacking unnecessarily difficult. Starting in Season 8, these stacks will persist even if the target leaves vision. So because after all, the subject isn't really tracked with Natafan's eyes, but with his camera. And we believe that although it is a small change, it's going to improve Natapon's consistency and make him easier to approach, even especially for newer players. Okay, let's move on to our next section for character updates. I'm really sorry that this part is in Korean. Stuff in development went late, so it's in Korean, but I'll try and explain it more in words.
That's some funny looking English.
So these changes are more tied into the system updates that we mentioned earlier, like the basic attack changes and the skill haste changes. So Lenore's passive is going to be changed because the new skill haste system bears a strong resemblance to Lenore's passive, Accelerando. And to keep things intuitive and consistent, we have changed Lenore's passive. So Lenore will now only be able to gain skill haste by hitting enemies with her skills and gaining scream stacks, and not from stats on her items. So basically, Lenore will only be able to gain skill haste through her passive, and the skill haste granted will only be granted when she hits other test subjects with her skills. And additionally, once she gains over 70 skill haste via scream stacks, the excess will only apply to her ultimate skill, preventing her entire kit from becoming overwhelmingly fast. So yeah, that's basically what the tooltip means. I hope that I explained it well, and I'm really sorry for it being in Korean. I'm sorry. Okay, also, as we mentioned with the basic attack changes, Lee Dai-Lin will also be getting some small changes as well. Usually a big kind of a fantasy that Lee Dai-Lin players have is diving stylishly
Live translation.
But like they would dash in with stylishly with their Q, but then they will be blocked by a nearby enemy, which is kind of frustrating. But now we will be removing that frustration.
Lenore nerf?
Starting with this season, we will be removing the unit collision part for Spirited Kick Q. And we believe that this will allow more aggressive dives into enemy backlines and flashier ultimate setups.
God, I've been here forever.
However, we do realize that this change is kind of big and kind of change the intuitive flow that players previously have,
been sitting
like we mentioned
forever.
previously in the UI change as well. So it may feel a lot different and could be decisive as well. But since this is a switchable change at our end, if you guys give your feedback about this change, we will try and look into it. And if it's unpopular, we're really open to reverting it as well. So we're making this change. We'll look at the feedback and we'll see how we'll go from there. Rio will also be getting some changes due to the basic effect changes. We will be changing Rio's short bow basic attacks to align with the changes. It will no longer be becoming a double hit attack which will lead to very unintended item synergy. And it will now behave similar to the Assault Rifle weapon type, which is going to be a main main one hit, plus a follow-up projectile type
Okay.
attack type. But to compensate, we'll also be making her first shot be animation canceled faster, giving and try and keeping her signature kiting style a smoother and more satisfying feel. And additionally, we'll also be adding a extra projectile to her short bow form as well when she uses her E soar to increase and enhance her skirmishing tools as well. So we hope that these changes will better align with the other systematic changes that we're applying this season. And yeah, we hope that a lot of our players playing these characters will enjoy them and feel like it's a improvement over the previous season. That's all for the character changes, and we will be moving more into some augment changes for this season too.
There you go.
So yeah,
We're
there's
waiting
gonna
for
be
that.
quite some revamps to some of the augments, and usually we don't change augments a lot, but with the SP system being reduced a lot in season 7, and with the addition for Caelest in season 8, we kind of felt that it's gonna be more. It's time to make some more important updates to the augments as well. So yeah, we thought that was an opportunity to breathe some new life into underused augments, and we'll introduce some of them right now. Starting with the Havoc traits, we believe that the old Anima Reaper was kind of too niche and only worked well with certain characters. So we will be removing Anima Reaper completely, and in its place we'll be adding 3 new mask traits to better match a variety of playstyles. So with these mask augments, you'll be gaining stacks for defeating enemy test subjects or boss monsters, or by hunting animals that matches the individual masks. So let's go over these 3 masks. So for Bear Mask, it will grant attack power or skill amp. Boar masks will now be boosting your max HP, while Wolf Mask will be increasing your attack speed. So you'll be gaining different stats upon different selected augments or different selected masks, and defeating the individual animals will grant stacks as well. Also, since we mentioned Anima Reaper being removed, Endorphin augment will also be removed as the SP system changes.
We're just watching the dev talk, Mason.
And we will also be adding Carnivore trait.
We're seeing what they're releasing this coming ER season, and then we're gonna talk afterwards, and I'll share what my thoughts are.
The new Dine and Dash will now allow you to recover 630 HP from even low-grade food, which will make it kind of a strong early game option if you only have a small rarity of food. And since Carnivore and Dine and Dash were both beginner-friendly picks, we believe that merging them allows new players to take advantage of both effects without being locked into the Havoc category. Lastly, Steadfast in the fortification slot will also be changed to scale better into the late game by gaining more stats per level as well. It will start weaker in the early phases, but will offer increased CC resistance as the match progresses. So that's all for the fortifications thought, and next up is going to be the support augments. So as we moved on, and with the crafting system being changed, we've seen less use.
Yeah, we're just hanging out watching the dev talk. Some pretty good changes so far. Some of them that I need to talk about afterwards.
Has naturally fallen out of favor, and we'll be removing it with the new season. In its place, we will be introducing two new augments that will be more focused on teamwork and synergy. So the first one up is going to be Exploding Cactus, which we can see on the GIF as well. So what's going to happen is that you can attach a cactus to an enemy, and if your teammate attacks that enemy, the cactus detonates and deals bonus damage. So we believe that it's a great way to add some small tactical depth between your teammates in team fights. And even though your teammate doesn't trigger it, it will give some reduced damage.
They've been yapping for hours.
If the timer runs out. So it's also be usable when you're using it alone in an alone situation as well. The other new augment that is going to be added is going to be Power of Intimidation, which is going to be empowering tank and bruiser.
I've been sitting for so long
simply by
listening to this.
staying close to enemies.
I appreciate
So
that they
when
do
you're
it
near
though,
a foe, your
Like I
nearby
don't want to be
your
too
nearby
offensive
allies
to
will be
them
able to
because
deal
like they
increased
put
damage
in
to
work
them,
making this
making your
happen,
presence
and I'm glad that
alone
we
by
do.
giving a more
But
meaningful form of support.
oh my god, dude. No,
Yeah.
I
Among
started doing this
existing
around the
augments,
halfway mark of the
we
stream
also changed Camping Guide to
about
work
2
with the
hours
new
ago.
gadget vault system to grant gadget energy instead of providing a hunter spot
Yeah,
as
they've been
well.
yapping for 2
And we've
hours,
also
and
made
like the
some
first
small
hour of that was
adjustments
just season 6 or like
to the
season
ceiling factor
7. We're
augment
here for
to
season
provide
8.
clearer
It's been
visuals
season
as well.
7. Oh my
Okay,
god. Mm.
I can't wait to get cactical with my exploding cactus.
Oh,
Mods, ban that guy. Okay, now lastly, we have chaos augments that we're going to change as
5
well.
hours.
These were directly affected by
No,
the
don't
skill
lie to
system,
Mason.
which
It's
is
not
going to
10
be
hours.
the first one up is going to be circular system, which is going to be restoring HP each time after you cast a skill. And the second one is going to be Overwatch, which has been
It
reworked
feels
to suit
like it,
more
but
high skill haste builds, which will now be granting additional bonus stats once your skill haste exceeds 55. Now with that being said, all these changes and all of these overhauls to the augments, we hope that it will revive some unused options and introduce some new playstyles as well, and we hope that it will give you more creative freedom when building your next strategy in the next season. Okay, next up, we're going to be introducing some new item skills as well to probably give some more strategic layers and individuality to your builds too. So first up, we want to give some of the ones tailored to tanks and bruisers. First one up is going to be Gap, which is going to be added to the battlesuit item. And just like its name suggests, the more distance there is between you and the person attacking, the less damage you take. So it's a powerful skill that helps reduce the frustration of being melted by long-range damage dealers. Perfect for sturdy frontliners trying to hold the line. So now hopefully with this addition, you'll be able to gap your opponents more easily. Next one up is going to be Turbulence, which is going to be applied to the EOD boots. So for this one, when you stay in close proximity to enemies and keep fighting, you'll be able to periodically unleash shockwaves that deal area damage. And this will reward tanks and brooders, which stay in the thick of combat and refuse to back down and stay closer to their opponents. Also, we have one more item skill that's going to help tanks and bruisers, which is going to be Endurance, Blaze Up, available on Mithril Armor. So this is more of the tank-focused version of the Blaze Up series. And with this one, every time you land a skill on an enemy, you'll be gaining stacking defense. And at max stacks, you'll also gain bonus movement speed as well.
Not sensitive
so
to the cringe roleplay. Yeah,
you
apparently
stay in battle,
not.
the stronger and faster you become. Simple, solid, and yeah. And we hope that these kind of item choices will be able to help out our tanks and bruisers. Moving on to the next part of item skills, these are more focused on
I mean, I was literally
versatile ones
foaming at the
and
mouth,
offering
like,
value to a
not
more
literally,
wider
but
variety of roles.
I basically
The
was
first one up is going to be
foaming
Master,
at the mouth when this
which is
spawn
going to
came
be
out.
creating a delayed shockwave around you
mean,
after using a weapon skill and applying a slow to nearby enemies too.
I don't know. And that didn't go away
we've
after
prepared
he
two
used
variants to suit different builds. The first one is going to be Master Insight, which is going to be scaling with
Like
attack
when I
power.
die to an inner spawn,
Yeah,
I'm not even
so
mad.
the Master on Insight is going to be staring with attack power, while Tindalus Monarch's one is going to be skill amp. So it's a powerful choice for characters who initiate fights. Sorry. Oh, grab some water.
Oh man. I'm gonna fall asleep after this, I feel like.
It's going to be a powerful choice for characters to
I am
initiate
trying my
fights
best
with
to stay
weapon
awake,
skills
my guy.
or dive into the
They're
enemy
talking
backline
me
with
to
combat.
bed right now.
I'm sorry, my throat is giving out.
Yeah,
Okay,
you've been
next
yapping a
one
lot.
up is gonna be Combat Instinct, which is gonna be an item skill on Legatus. True to its name, when landing the first basic attack at the start of combat, your attack speed will be significantly boosted for a short time. So we hope that it's going to be especially useful for auto attack based DPS characters wants to seize the
I
upper hand
can't put it on
early in an
1.5 or 2
engagement.
times. It's live.
Finally, Spot
This is on
is
Twitch.
going to be featured on the Black Death item, which is going to be a special skill, which is
We're
when
watching
you
it
land a
live this
skill on an
time.
enemy from over 7 meters away, they're going to be taking powerful bonus damage and temporarily reveal vision around them. We believe that it's the perfect skill for being more more poke-heavy comps and long-range snipers who thrive on landing precise hits from a distance.
We also apologize. There's a error with the gifs, but
The
we'll see
GIF.
why in the next one.
It's gonna
The arrow with the
we're
GIF.
sorry.
The GIF.
Oh, true.
GIF.
Yeah, it's a mess up
GIF.
from our side. We're so sorry.
They said GIF. I heard GIF.
Wait,
You
this
don't-
one's also
you
have
don't
the
tell
same
me.
GIFs.
That you say it like
That is so funny. I am so sorry.
chat.
This is what happens in the headquarters.
There's
of
no
Google
way
morons. We're so
They don't
sorry.
call him out.
But
He
yeah,
said
we'll
GIF.
still try and explain it as best in words before I die. Okay, so as we mentioned with the removal of the reload system, right? We will also be changing the existing.
Did you make
item
a clip,
skill, which is
Chizu?
Inclusion.
Hold
it's
on.
also gonna.
Wait, hold on. That's true. At least we got a game in.
And we got lots of things in,
We
right?
did. What?
We played 2 different video games, and we figured out how to be on each other's streams.
We figured out how to be VTubers. We did it.
Yeah, we're real
We've
VTubers
unlocked
now.
the secret. Look at us.
You can't stop us from now on.
It only took
True.
us
At least we got a game in.
like an hour and a half
And
to
we
figure
got
out how
lots
to
of
be
things in,
VTubers. We
right?
did.
We played 2 different video games.
You love that we can stand next to each other? Yes. It was so worth the effort, wasn't it?
And
It's
higher,
so good,
we'll
and our
restore
clips feel
we'll
more
also restore
alive
HP
and everything.
on top of the extra damage, making it even more rewarding.
And it's more fun.
And
And I could pet the
so we
Chizu.
hope that that's gonna be of the help for our item skills as well. And yeah, that is the overview.
I can
for our
head
new
pat the
reward item
Chizu
skills coming
myself.
in season 8.
Can
And
you
we hope
guys do
with
that?
the introduction
I'm the
of
only one
these
who can
new
do that.
Unique mechanics. We would hope that, and with the introduction of the skill-based system as well, we hope that our players will be able to develop fresh builds and strategies around them. And we hope that you're
I'm the
all
only
looking forward
one
to
that can
experiment
exist
all of
in
these
the
new
digital realm
build
and head
ideas
pat the
in the
Chizu.
upcoming season 2. With that being said, I am gonna.
I feel so special.
Myself is gonna go on a short break while Raven 1 takes over and introduces the next changes to season 8.
Oh, my eyes so itchy.
Firstly, Season 8 is going to introduce seasonal collections, and as the name suggests, you can collect pieces, complete
Yeah,
puzzle,
one day
and
we'll
get
we'll
rewards,
play VR
and it'll be a
chat.
nice side activity
Absolutely.
where you can take a break, enjoy the small joy of collecting pieces, and of course, the rewards.
I was thinking about that immediately as I was
Hold.
making the 3D model. I'm like, how
Hold.
cute would it be if we were able to meet up in VR chat with our 3D models? It might be like the only way we'll ever see each other, but
Now
that's
for
cute.
the mid-season update.
It's cringe,
coming
but it's
to season
adorable.
8.
It's a process, yeah.
This
It's
is
something we'll
one
do in the
many
future.
of you been waiting for. Solos is finally making its return in the form of Lone Wolf, a mode we have promised our players for a long, long time. As we prepare for the official launch, we made the decision to prio squads as the main mode in order to reach a broader audience. That meant
The
reworking many
ideas.
systems that had
I'm
originally
glad
been
you're as
built for
excited
solo.
about them as I am.
Still, regardless of our reasoning, many of you continue to miss that feeling, the intensity of being on
Good
your
night,
own,
Chizu.
fully responsible for every
Keep
moment,
posting the
fighting
clips.
to
I
be the
love
last
them.
one standing. We'll never forget the heartfelt comments and messages you left the day we announced Solos was closing. And honestly, even within the dev team, many of us were solo-focused players. That's why bringing back Lone Wolf has been such an exciting and emotional journey for us. Here's a
You're
little
going to
story
bed too,
from our
Lamb? Yeah,
internal
I
test.
want to
We
go
had
to bed
21
too.
people in the match.
I'm going to
during
watch the
first
rest of
round,
this and
everyone
then
was
share
curious.
my thoughts
How
at
would
the
this
end.
character perform in solo? So the picks were incredibly.
I will clip my thoughts probably and then upload those to the YouTube, but I'll skip everything else. Are they going to work on promo? We haven't heard yet. They probably will mention that at the end. At least I hope so.
What Solos was all about. But
Chat
this
was
a test
badgering them,
without the
or
season
their chat was badgering them at the start about like just promote your game, just do it. Like, why are you not promoting? Like, I understand how big of an issue it is, and I'm one of, like, the most vocal about it, but still, don't, like, bully them into it. Yeah, tell them it's a problem, tell them they should do it, but, like, that's excessive. Like, they were, like, just it was, like, just that, for a while at the beginning. Yeah, it was, like, people going into the chat and just, like, "Don't develop the game, stop develop just promo, just promo." It's like, well, no, they still need to do work. It's just they should be making ads.
Every day for all servers. The specific time slots for each servers will be announced later down the road, but we'll be targeting
Alright,
time
Lamb, have
slots
a
that
good
have
one.
the
I will
highest
see you
concurrent
around.
players for solo before official release. Lone Wolf uses
Thank you for
MMR as a
being
live
here
competitive
and listening to
element,
them yap.
but there will be no official ranks or tiers. But we'll be providing the data through
I'll
API,
upload a
so
clip of all
sites
my
like
thoughts at the end and skip all the yap.
.gg can still track and showcase top performers. We'll be closely watching how well this new mode actually addresses the old issues that solos used to have. And who knows, if the community really likes it and the response is strong enough, maybe the time slot might change or maybe even stretch. We'll look forward to your feedback and hope you enjoy what's to come. And we know you're gonna want to play solos even after the mode ends. So we're actually working on a mid-season patch as well for custom games, where you can host custom games and have players come in. And not only that, you'll be able to actually control and have wider settings for each custom games.
Cool.
And you can now preview all detailed settings before entering as well.
I don't know how many people are actually going to use that, but
and revival settings, giving you the
cool.
tools to create your own unique house rules. And the biggest one is that if you disable the respawn kit option, it brings back the original raw solo experience many of you remember. Players will only have one life for the round, and we will not get 3 strikes like in the event mode. Players can freely configure what kind of rules they want for different modes. With the addition of Lone Wolf in Season 8, Eternal Return now features 4 major game modes. First, we have Lumia Island, the main mode that captures the core experience of ER. Then there's Cobalt Protocol, which serves as our casual mode. Lone Wolf, along with the other upcoming modes, will be ran as a limited time event mode, especially only working during specific hours. The future of these modes depend on you, the players. If a time-limited mode receives overwhelming support, we'll look into extending its availability.
Oh.
If the demand continues, it could be even, maybe a full-fledged main mode. On the other hand, if a mode becomes unsustainable, we may reduce its hours or even temporarily close it until it's reworked. Our journey of experimentation and innovation doesn't end here. We're already planning our 5th game mode as well, which will be coming out in Season 11. Next, we'd like to talk about something that was promised last season, but unfortunately weren't able to deliver on, which was the camera.
We gotta give them solos so they shut up.
As we began development, we encountered a lot of issues, and it forced us to push back the schedule. Up until now, the Y key allowed you to either fully lock or completely unlock the camera with no options between. But we're going to be working on new modes where the first is a lock camera view option. With this setting, the camera can move freely, but only within a range where your character never leaves the screen. The second will be based on where your mouse position is. And a discovery we made while working on this system is that something we didn't realize before is that Lumia Island isn't really set at a perfect 45-degree angle. And because of that, when we were working on changing these cameras, we actually weren't able to fully get the look correctly with the lock cameras. As during early development, we slightly tilted the map off the axis to give a more natural POV, similar to other MOBA games. So that's what caused this postponing of this new mode, and we apologize for that.
Get to it, yeah.
We're fully committed to delivering these changes during Season 8.
I really do appreciate that they do so much work to give us the English version.
Next topic is the one that could have the greatest impact on the future of Eternal Return. We're talking about the introduction of AI bots that have machine learning capabilities. We believe matchmaking is one of the most critical factors in making PvP games enjoyable. When players of similar skill levels are matched together, many problems naturally go away. Even if you're slow at looting, bad at fighting, or unfamiliar with routes and objectives, if everyone else is at the same level, you can learn and grow together at a comfortable pace. At its core, The fun of PvP games come from facing opponents of similar skill. We've already taken steps to improve this, such as dividing matchmaking into detailed MMR tiers. But we've run into a real challenge: queue times. When queues get long, we're forced to widen the matchmaking range. Even on the Asia server, about half of our games use this expanded range, and on global servers, that number is even higher. We've determined that overly broad matchmaking is one of the biggest reasons behind unbalanced or frustrating matches, especially in norms. To address this, we've partnered with a specialized AI company, the same group that's deployed over 1.5 million AI bots across several popular titles to develop new machine learning based bots for return. Our goal is simple: to create AI that's indistinguishable from real players, not bots that fail to farm properly or move awkwardly, but
Oh, my arms are
bots
wigging
that
out.
think and behave like actual players.
My arms
The
good?
same level of silver. Once season
Not
8
really.
begins, these bots will start training using
Okay, there
live replays. Then in the
What's
second
going
half
on
of
there?
the season, we aim to introduce up to 5,000 AI bots into normal matchmaking, allowing us to maintain strict skill-based matchmaking within norms. This means when you encounter fewer matches where opponents feel way too strong or far too easy in norms. And this will go along with something that I will talk a little more later down the road. But in season 8 and season 9, we're going to be doing more marketing push. So
You know what I
that
just
will really
realized?
help with the norms as well.
I could
And to be
make
transparent,
a
the machine
jingling
learning tech
keys
is very expensive.
thing. I
Each
could
bot
jingle
costs
keys for you
around
guys,
10
literally.
USD per month to
Now that
operate.
I've got
But
this,
with the
I could
marketing push
actually
and
jingle
the
keys
norms
for you.
issues that we face in multiple servers, we hope these new bots and
Augments
machine
jingle
learning
jingle
helps us
with
achieve
season 8,
of a more
season 9
concrete
jingle
new
jingle.
player experience for the players that will hopefully come in soon.
Character
Now with
Rick.
that, I will pass the mic
Jingle
back
jingle.
into
I feel like I'd be using it for myself.
Bye bye, Bozo. Okay, now
Yeah, I didn't
we will
have
move into
keys.
more
I could
of
actually
what
like legit
we prepared for season
just
9
make
and beyond.
something
We
that
talk
sounds
a
like
lot
keys and
about
then
what we want to change and improve on
just
on
have like
previous
a little
seasons,
thing that
and
I can
that
physically
kind of
jingle.
continues when we're going to season 9 and beyond also. So let's just show what we have prepared for the future seasons too. So now that we removed reloading in season 8, the next system that we probably want to say goodbye into in season 9 is gonna be the SP system. So we first tentatively brought up the possibility of
Because what am I
reloading
supposed to
SP
do when
during
I'm like
previous
sitting here
dev
just
hour.
watching this shit?
And after
I'll just
seeing
play with my
how the game
model. I
played
mean,
in season 7, when SP consumption
I'm
was
so bored.
significantly relaxed, we finally reached a conclusion. We believe that it's finally time to move on from the SP
You
system.
thought.
Of course, SP is currently deeply intertwined with various character skills and mechanics.
It's pretty
That's
good.
why we're
Not gonna
aiming
lie, the
for a
tracking's
comprehensive
not
removal in
bad.
season 9. In preparation, season 8 will include some early adjustments. We will, as we said in the augment changes, augments related to SP will be replaced with new augments. And we will also be removing SP costs for crafting or using the Hyperloop or like small things to reduce existing frustrations as well. So all in all, season 8 will be the final season where you'll see SP bar in eternal return. And whether it was a source of
Dude.
frustration, challenge, strategy, SP was a part of many memories throughout the game's history, and we hope that it is a sad. I believe it's a very sad stuff whenever we would have to remove a mechanic, but
I don't
we
think
hope
so.
that
I think it's
you
normal.
would join us all in missing it in its final run in
No.
season 8.
I won't. I don't give a shit.
Okay, now this one is also quite a big change. Starting in season 9, we will be making a change to Dine and Dash, but not exactly the Dine and Dash augment. We will be implementing the auto-eat system of Dine and Dash in as a core gameplay system.
You what?
So we've always been very cautious about incorporating convenience features like this into the base game, because the reason is that it's all about preserving the skill ceiling. Because automating certain actions may offer short-term
You
comfort,
what?
but over time it can flatten the gameplay depth and reduce the opportunities for skill expression. And those thrilling moments where mastery truly shines is something that we definitely do not want to remove. And Dine and Dash was no exception, but because automatically consuming food is undeniably convenient, it also meant giving up another powerful augment. And we wanted to remain as a strategic choice and not just a baseline mechanic. That was why it was kept in the game.
Auto
But
eat?
Eternal Return is a ever-changing game with each season bringing new systems, adjustments, and meta ships. And after reviewing all of the cumulative changes through season 8, we've come to a new
Windy.
conclusion. We will be including
You
automatic food
you what?
consumption as a base feature, which will no longer compromise the skill gap or the integrity of higher level play. So does this mean we're removing the OG Dine and Dash now? But don't worry, it's not going anywhere. It will still offer
You
unique
what?
advantages. The augment will
Wait.
still now recover the same amount of
You're
HP
what now?
in less time than the standard system as before. And also, we said we're gonna be implementing the previous effects from Carnivore into Dine and Dash 2.
Oh
And
my
it's still gonna
god.
be valuable for characters who rely on quick recovery during combat as well. We're also preparing a small buff to keep it feeling impactful and competitive. So yeah, it will still remain as a thing on our game. We'll also be preparing special settings for it so that players can control which amount of stuff they prefer when the system kicks in, so that it doesn't feel too intrusive. So it's still a bit ways off, but we hope that it's something that can help more players settle
SPMM?
settle
I feel like I know
play
what that
through
is, but
Eternal
I don't
Return.
remember. I've
Next
heard that
one up
before.
is
I don't
the
remember what it is.
dynamic
though.
restricted areas.
My brain
part.
is fucking
This
fried
one is
from
something
this.
that we mentioned earlier in the dev stream because of the optimal player density.
Whatever
And
neurons
this is
have
one of
got
the new
bouncing
tools
around
that
in
we
there are
cooked
not
up
bouncing.
that will probably
Oh
help adjust
yeah,
the
the
pacing
skill-based
and
matchmaking.
density of matches.
I don't think so.
Because I believe that everyone would probably have the experience of
They don't
playing
have
a
enough
match
player
that was
base to do
nearing
that.
the end, but for a long stretch, you couldn't find a single enemy throughout the whole game.
Oh
And that
my
frustrating
God.
moment where you're thinking, where is everyone? And
My arms
this
popped.
is
That was-
really a
that
kind
felt
of
nice.
situation that we're targeting with this feature. Because the tension of Eternal Return comes from just the right amount of encounters in one
All right,
lobby.
fuck this. I'm getting up. I'm putting my head through a
Running
wall.
into enemies too frequently can be overwhelming, but going too long without a fight can be just as problematic. And to address this, we're planning a system that automatically accelerates the upcoming restricted zones when the number of remaining teams drops below a certain threshold. That means that one or two zones from the next phase may become restricted a bit earlier, which means it will dynamically shrink the playable area faster. You might be wondering, wait, then that could make the game feel super cramped now. But this isn't the issue with what we're planning, because we're planning it so that the system only steps in when there's a significant gap between the size of the map and the number of remaining teams. So it's designed to kick in only occasionally in matches that would otherwise risk being too slow or uneventful. So yeah, it's not forcing constant high pressure, but it's more of a gentle nudge to preserve tension when pacing begins to slow down. And that's why we expect it to have the most positive impact in normal match pacing, where match flow tends to vary more widely than in ranked. Okay, this one is a bit of a fun one. One of the features that we're preparing for Season 9 is the Treasure Goblin system, which is going to be a brand new type of objective that will bring fresh energy and kind of unpredictability to Lumia Island as well. We're currently calling it Treasure Goblin internally, and true to its name, we believe that it will deliver surprise and delight in unexpected ways. So up until now, most objectives on Lumia Island, like Tree of Life, Alpha, Omega, have had clear fixed locations and
At this
rewards,
point, I'm just
and
staying
usually
around
this
for
will
like
reinforce long-term
what
planning
they
and
think of the
strategic
problems
execution.
that we talked about.
But with the Treasure Goblin, we're introducing something different. This is going to be more of a
I'm just
system
waiting
based
for them to
on
confront the problems of
accidental
season
discovery
7,
and
not the
high-stakes
mechanics,
pursuit.
like
And as you explore,
the
so
marketing
what's going to
and
happen is
collab
that
meant nothing.
as you
and-
explore the island, you may stumble upon a suspicious trail, something that's not marked on the map.
Bro.
And following it, you might just encounter a special treasure goblin. Oh, also, it's not. It's
You want
not
to just go play
confirmed
some
to be a
norms
goblin,
matches
we're
and
just
come back
calling
in
it
an
a
hour and
goblin,
see if they're still
but,
yapping?
anything can change, so it might be. So we'll see. So, but like even if you find the goblin, don't expect it to be an easy catch because the moment it spots you, it's gonna let out a loud shriek and alerting nearby players at the same time while also running away too. So if you hesitate, another team might also try and root towards the goblin as well and steal the reward. So with this one, it's the key is to act immediately and decisively and kind of on the fly rather than strategic planning. The reward will also change based on the goblin's
If
situation,
anyone's even
so it might
on.
seem random at first glance, but with the right timing and planning, you can also try and aim for the exact item you need if you spot one too. So it's kind of a timing mini game. Let's say
My
a
mic
kind of a
looks
timing mini
tasty. I
game that
should just eat it.
suddenly appears mid game,
I could just
and
get another one.
that's going to be wrapped into your lobby.
Why don't I just
It may be kind of
eat it?
it's maybe kind of reminds some people of
I
Lumi's
mean, what
credit
else am
mode,
I gonna
but
do
this
while I'm
time
listening
we
to them
believe that the
yap?
treasure goblin is going to behave much differently.
Uh,
It's going to be much more
you know, I
irregular in
forgot
movement. It's
that
also
I
it's
even
more of
watched
a
this last
stuff that
last season
is
on
made
Speed
to
Up.
disrupt your path.
I forgot
To
I had
like
that,
try and pull players towards
and I
it
didn't think
rather
about
than
it,
you
and
planning
here we
to
are.
you reinforcing your
This
walking
is my
to it
payment.
walking to it as a strategy. So yeah, the goal is to inject dynamic tension and on-the-fly decision-making into your match flow.
Hey, Wendy, do
So
you
yeah,
have like
it's
a
not quite
you have a
ready
speed up button?
we're not ready to
No, no
reveal the
hate, no
final artwork. We're
disrespect.
not
I
even
appreciate what we're
really
doing,
ready
but
to showcase if it's actually a goblin or not. But yeah,
like
we wanted to
I
share that
my
we
stream
wanted to
time is
share that we're
usually
developing more
over in
non-traditional
about like 20
behavior-based
minutes, and I
map
feel like this is
objectives in
gonna
the
be another
future, and this
hour
is kind of something
of
that we
this.
want to try out. And I'm seeing a lot of good options here in the chat. Either say we should name it Goblin, Mutant Rat, Dokebi. I like
Like
these
it's
all.
getting dark
We'll
out.
see what happens in the final product. And yeah, I hope that everyone's excited for this new feature, and we'll see how it goes. Next one up is the basic attack post delay improvements. This one is kind of
No,
something that we
people
want to
care. I
apologize
want to
for
hear about
because
this
this
stuff. It's just
one
like
was
you
something
don't need to
we
go into
would have
such
probably
detail.
delivered
I'm glad
already,
that I'm thankful
but
for the effort
already
and that
based on
you're
our
so
last dev
considerate.
stream.
But
But as you can see in the previous information that we gave throughout the dev stream, our pipelines shift a lot, our schedules inevitably shift, and we're really sorry that we weren't able to push this update quickly. So the basic attack post delay improvements that were mentioned last season wasn't able to be pushed right now, but yeah, we are very excited to say that we'll be probably able to deliver this in season 9 as of now. So we hope that this will be able to improve the feel of kiting for melee characters, and yeah, improve responsiveness overall. So we're working on the broader task of standardizing and kind of improving various basic attack rules overall, and we hope that in season 9 we can push it to the next level.
I'm not gonna have enough energy to do my yapping at the end.
Okay, now this one is another more of the boom type
Bro.
updates. It's gonna be the map improvements. And even with the map improvements that we're pushing this season, we're also going to be pushing more.
I do
for,
care.
the
They
future
just
seasons too, season 9 or future seasons.
Like I
want to
know this stuff. It's just like you don't
changes to the chapel,
need to
which we will plan to widen
so
the path that connects it to the uptown area and open some of the walls on the actual chapel building to create a much more smoother and accessible entryway. There's also plans to change the hospital, which will be opening up an additional space for the more inner building to move around. And we also have changes planned for the police station, which will be opening up a passage
Here,
in the
Mason,
middle
read these.
to expand it and create a
They're
new
probably
travel
being
road.
cancer, but like
So
here's
we're not
a
making
chat
sweeping
to read, I
changes
guess.
just yet, and construction on Lumia Island is continuing steadily. And yeah, we're hoping that everyone is excited to look at which area is going to be improved next. Something that we also talked about was the differentiation between normal and ranked play. In season 9, we want to make our first step towards separating the rule sets of normal and ranked matches. Because normal and ranked matches usually offer fundamentally different experiences. Normal mode is more of a space to learn, experiment, or enjoy the game without pressure, while ranked mode is more of a competitive arena where players push for higher tiers. So since both modes have a different feel but use the core rule set, we believe that if we tune the game to suit one mode, it can end up hurting the other. So what we want to do in the future is try and separate rules based upon on these kind of modes as well. However, we are very aware of the feedback of switching between the two modes should remain more seamless. And
Do I
if
need
it's
like
remaining
a
more seamless, it
sleepy
will also
emote
help
for
players
me?
settle into the ranked experience.
I think
So
I
we will be
do.
starting with small extensions to the elimination prevention system in the in normal
I
matches
need to
in season
make an
9.
entire
So
model
it's going to be a small first
just
step,
for
but we'll be
like
continue
for
to collect
sleeping.
data, listen to your feedback, and see what we will be able to do to provide the most
Just
fitting
for when
experience
I'm
for
like,
both modes.
or at least like make, like
We're also going to be
pajamas.
bringing more improvements to training modes.
I need
In season
pajamas
10, we
so I
are
can just
going
take a
to be
nap
bringing a major overhaul
mid yap
for the
stream.
practice mode, because now with the changes, you will now be able to bring your friends
Is
into
this something
practice
we
mode
asked for
and
heavily? I don't
do
know.
fun stuff too. We will be making multi-user support a priority for our practice mode. We're currently thinking of peer-to-peer kind
Gunfire
of connections
bars,
for
6 of them.
or for technical notes, which means that the room
A
host
sleepy
will
cap,
act as the
yeah.
server, but we're taking extra care to make this more smooth and stable as well. You'll also be able to freely switch between characters, skins, augments, and tactical skills as well without
I
leaving
need
the
a
session
sleepy
too. So you
outfit.
can
That's what I
rapidly
need.
test
I need
builds and
pajamas.
find out what
I
works
don't
best
wear
for your
pajamas, but
playstyle
like,
as well. We hope that this new practice mode will be able to open the door for more creative learning and also testing and fun as well. So stay tuned and get ready to experience a more fun training mode in season 10 or beyond too.
you know what I'll do? I'll
We're
just
also
give
bringing
him
more
like
tutorial
an outfit
improvements
based on
in
what I
season
do
10
wear
as
during
well,
winter.
as we're going to
'Cause I have
completely
pajama
overhaul
pants
the
that I really
tutorial
like.
in season 10.
Tutorial
New player
overhaul.
retention is always a very big challenge shared across the game industry, and learning a game is
Finally.
rarely solved by just one good tutorial, because players usually get information from a combination of other stuff, such as hands-on experience, watching others, asking friends, or reading guides. But while a tutorial won't fix everything on its own, that does not mean it's unimportant, because a well-crafted tutorial will absolutely make a vastly better first impression than a weak one. And we do understand that our current tutorial, especially in its cutscene quality and outdated content, falls short of what our standard players deserve. We will be rebuilding it from the ground up and be introducing more high-quality cutscenes and better content that reflect our many systems in the game as well. It won't be a magical solution, but we hope that it will become a much more better welcome to new players.
Sure. We needed it.
Okay, now, as we talked a lot more about new player retention as well, we wanted to give you a more long-term plan about how we're planning to support and guide our new players as they begin their new
This game
journey
is
on Lumia
cutscenes?
Island. In previous seasons, we introduced a system like the save plan system, Operator Naja, as well as the basic in-game guide added in Season 6. And we hope
Yeah,
that
this game has cutscenes.
these
I didn't
tools
know
will
that.
give more essential information to our players without ever needing to leave the game. In Season 7, we've also beginning shaping more opportunities for players to learn combat fundamentals, which is very critical in any PvP type game. And even with the rollback of the initial elimination prevention system, we still believe that the day one
Block
safeguard has
smurfing.
proven
They
very
are.
helpful to the players. We will also be introducing machine learning AI bots, as mentioned previously, which will give players a much more better experience being matched within a lobby that is more similar to their current skill level. It will provide more engaging and gradual learning experiences outside the tutorials.
Just give them anime
and feel
clips?
more
Yeah,
meaningful.
honestly.
We've also introduced our dynamic item recommendation system, which will feature an important gap to players to help adapt to late game situations with unfamiliar materials. And with Season 9, we'll also be implementing the beta period for our mobile phone verification as well, which is currently going to start in fewer servers, but we hope that it will be a crucial step in toward preventing one of our biggest pain points for our players as well, and improve it gradually include it to new servers too. In Season 10, as we mentioned, we will be reworking our tutorial and practice mode. we want to completely rework our tutorial and
There's
practice
this
mode
dude
design
in their
and ensuring
chat
players to get
called
up on
Nine
the
Eye
right foot
Cash
as
or
their very
whoever
first
that is.
step
I don't know who it
in
is, but like
Island 2.
early in the stream when they were
So as you
talking
can
about
see, we
reports
have a
and bans,
multi-season roadmap to
everyone was saying to ban
steadily
them,
address
and I'm
each
not really
challenge that our
sure
new players face. It's not going to be an easy task,
why.
and it's going to be a long journey. But we hope that our goal into making Eternal Return a welcoming and rewarding experience for new players will be able to go. Will be able to be achieved, and we're committed to getting there, step by step, season by
The
season.
paying employees
And
are
to
using that
clarify,
money to
the
get
Season 9
Pokemon.
mobile is going to start in
No,
the Asia server
no, they're
first,
not.
and then we'll be
They're
expanding
using it to open
to
another server in
other servers. The
China.
data is TBD, so I just wanted to clarify.
And on a higher note, we also want to introduce something that was really asked a lot from our community. We will finally be able to bring more story content to Eternal
Story
Return in Season 11
content,
too. And this is the big announcement
lore
that we will be introducing story
episodes.
episodes, lore coming to Eternal Return 2. We'll be
Fuck
sharing
yeah,
new
dude. Look at the
stories,
entire
new
chat
in-game
freak
character
out.
dialogue, and beautiful illustrated scenes like
Their
this
chat
one,
has
which
been
is
like
just a sample
basically
image, but
going
we hope
nowhere
that
the
it will
whole
look something
time.
like
They mentioned
this.
lore.
Our
Look what
goal is
happens.
to
Look at the
help.
chat.
Our goal is to
Look at
have
this
a
shit.
full-fledged story mode ready by season 11. And yeah,
If
it
this
is
doesn't
a
tell
very
you how much people
long-term
want
vision
it,
as of now, but we don't really want to keep you waiting with nothing in hand. So we will be introducing a beta version as a
the
limited
pro
event
that's hard to
in
play
season
with.
9 to start
Why?
gathering your
Because
thoughts
they're
and
like
feedback of what we
toxic
are
or
preparing. So yeah, we're working hard. We're working really hard into bringing
dude,
depth
that
to the
chat
world
just
of
freaked
Eternal
the fuck
Return
out. They
and
mentioned
lore
lore
to
once,
to our
and
test
look what
subjects.
happened.
Yeah, we would love to get. We hope that you're all excited as we are. Stay tuned. And
We're-
yeah, that is all that I have
Oh my
for season 9
god,
and
look at him
beyond.
go.
And for some additional news, Raven 1 will take over and introduce them.
Working overtime is really rough, isn't it, Wendy?
Yeah, it is. I'm dying.
All right, I have some additional news that doesn't really fit in with gameplay itself, so I'll go over them really quick. The first one is that we're going to be having a second anniversary celebration. We were invited by the
It's
city
like
of Incheon
listening to
District,
community
during
works to
July
get them
19th and
excited
20th.
and on
We'll be
board.
there to
Yeah, because
celebrate
everyone's
with
asking for
tournaments
lore
with
and
a
they're
variety of
finally adding it.
collaboration events for Koreans and tourists. On the left, you can find the mascot for the offline
In
event,
Geo.
Tia.
The hell's that?
Not just Tia,
Oh, live
there's some of the
tournaments?
other
Yeah.
characters that will be visiting Incheon with us. Each character will be used as a mascot for the city collaboration with their famous restaurants. For one of the collabs, we will be working with Incheon Beer, which are held by Lee Dailin and Yumin on the right. If you happen to visit Korea
Funny
during
looking
July,
West.
make sure to come check us out. We are also going to be preparing merch for our second anniversary. We will be announcing how players can get these items, but I'm glad to announce that they will be available globally and not just limited to Korea. Keep an eye out for these first ever figures. We have prepared a total of 3, with the first one being Bianca.
We
Here's
heard
the rough
global.
draft. We don't have the colored version yet, but this is the base. All 3 will be
Holy
included
shit.
and packaged as one set. The second one is Abigail. We believe they got her mute expression and signature hand pose just right. And here is the real life base as well. And the third, last but not least, is Kadia doing her signature pose. This one has the drone as well, but it may be fragile, so we're going to be extra careful with it. Now for the part that many were curious about. Let's begin with some exciting news on ER's global servers expansion. As many of you guys have seen,
I'm about to go
will
broke.
officially launch on WeGame, China's massive gaming platform, often referred as the Steam of China. WeGame will operate on a separate server.
Hey
that
guys,
will
I hate
follow
to
the same
break it to you.
patch
I'm
schedule
going
as
big.
all other regions.
What
Although
for?
you won't be able
What
to match
for,
with
Celeste?
WeGame players in
This
game,
little
we're hopeful that
chibi.
cross-community
Fuck,
activities like
go
food creation
back.
and
Show me the
community events
Katya
will
again.
help connect
Go
players
back.
across regions. Next,
I'm
we'll
weak in
be
the
launching
arms.
a
I
trial
woke the
Asia 3
fuck up.
servers for players
Whoa,
in Asia and
hey,
Southeast
whoa.
Asia.
I don't know what happened. I
This
blacked
new
out for the
server
past
is
2 hours, but I saw
expected to
Katya,
significantly
and I
improve
heard global.
connectivity for players who've been experiencing high ping issues in the region. Interestingly, despite Season 7 being a bit of a difficult season overall, players' number actually grew in Japan. We're looking forward to taking a more proactive approach in Japan, including working with a new local partner. For other global
Finally
regions
awake.
outside of China, We're putting a lot of effort into the machine learning AI
In a
bots. from
jar?
season
No,
8.
I'm gonna head pat the
Matchmaking
shit out of
qualities
it. I'm
and
gonna get a little
dwarfs has
cookie,
been the biggest
a
challenge in
little
this region,
blanket for
and
it, and put it on my desk,
the AI should
and
be
it'll be
able
the
to help us
cutest fucking
provide a
thing
smoother,
ever.
skill-appropriate experience for new players through these AI bots, and it'll be very important
I don't
for
goon
our
for
long-term
Katya.
global success. We're also working with external partners for
No, that would
marketing
be
in the English
Istvan.
regions outside, at the start of season, and hopefully throughout as
Collab with
well. This
Nikkei?
marketing start included AI
That would be
and for new
hilarious.
players.
They would
Will also
never, but it would
naturally
be
flow
fucking
into
funny.
season 9 and 10, where we're planning 2 in-game collaborations. Both feature
Oh,
IPs
dude,
that are
what the
much more
fuck?
popular globally than they are in Korea. Due to contract terms, we'll only be able to announce them 2 to 4 weeks.
Growth in other regions, working with multiple external partners, IP collab. IPs are more famous globally outside of Korea. Collabs will be announced 2 to 4 weeks before start. Guys,
And exciting IP collaborations.
we're doing it. Are we actually?
to
Is this real?
players worldwide.
Is
Thank you
this
so
real?
much. And speaking of thank yous,
Is this real?
here is the season 8.
Am I reading this?
8 coupon. Season 8 splash 07.
This is real.
You guys can activate
We're
this
actually
coupon
doing it.
in-game until Wednesday, July 2nd.
Whoa.
We really do mean it. Thank you always for sticking with us. I know there are a lot of promises that we made along the way, and
What
I know a
the
lot of the
fuck?
promises have taken a while, and it's been a heartwarming journey and a very rough, rocky journey. And I know a lot of players have come and go, but thank you for always being with us.
Yeah, thank you for always being with us. And yeah, as you know, it has been a rocky journey, but it is really great for us that we been able to just service Eternal Return for such a long period and see faces that we have seen for years and years. And there are new players as well coming in to say that they really enjoyed playing Eternal Return right now. And we hope that with these new changes and our future plans, we will be able to meet up with all of the expectations and give you a truly great experience of Eternal Return. Thank you so much for playing. And yeah, with that being said, we will go on a short break before we show you all of the new skin character content. I know everyone is very excited to see. And yeah, before we show off all of that, we will jump into a short break and come back later. Thank you so much for joining in for our first part of the dev stream. Thank you so much.
You're just gonna drop that on me and leave?
You can't fall for your instructor.
Yap. 2 hours and a half of fucking yapping.
you are.
Oh, by the way,
heard you
we're
need
doing
something.
global advertising. K, thanks, bye.
Extinguishing fire.
What the fuck?
Ready to be dispatched anytime. No need to worry.
I'm going in. You can't run away from me. Your habits reflect in your results. Don't relax just yet.
Oh my god. Oh. I hope the clip is gonna be worth it because we just waited like 2.5 hours. No, 2 years for that. How long did we wait for this shit? And before I even got here, they've been waiting forever, and we finally get global advertising. Are you kidding me? They really just said, "Oh, look at all these things we're doing in season 7, and now this is season 8 and 9 and 10, and this is all this bloat and stuff." And I'm doom posting in my head already. I'm falling like asleep listening to this shit, and then they go, "Hey, by the way, we're releasing little figurines of your favorite characters, and it's gonna be global." Okay, thanks. Let's go on break and not. Hey, by the way, we're doing everything you asked for. Oh my god, I'm weak. I need to stand up. I need to go. I need a BRB. I can't do this shit. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Yeah, this is good, Mason. They just announced that they're basically doing everything that we wanted. They just said, hey, by the way, we're doing advertising and global merch. Global is getting attention. Hey, all the things that you just spent the last 4 months asking for, and the last 3 years that people, like, longer that people have been asking for. Yeah, by the way, we're doing that now. Congrats. Oh my god, I'm gonna freak out. I need to go process this.